Hi yogis. I was just doing a little bit of a walk around today's class. We're going to be practicing the art of walking, or at least tuning into the way we walk. So there's many aspects of the body that we good to focus on when you are walking. But today's one we're going to focus mainly on the buttocks and the hamstrings. So when you walk, for a lot of us, and it's good to watch yourself, the way you walk, but also observe other people as they walk as well. And for some of us, we more shuffle along. Ideally, when you are walking, you're wanting to push off the back foot, tone through the hamstrings, tone the buttocks, and this will take the pressure out of the lower back. So today we're going to be focusing on the buttocks, the hamstrings, and also through the hips and the quads. Okay, so welcome everyone. Let's come down. I will also over the course of a few weeks we will go through the other aspects of walking as well. I love bringing awareness to the way we walk, and you can really start to notice things in your body when you walk, and it also starts to bring awareness to maybe different habitual holding patterns that you have in the body and things that may be causing pain or tension in your body. So let's set an intention. So you're welcome to set an intention for your day. And the intention may be to bring awareness to how you walk. And just noticing it, so just walking around and just observing. Get someone else to maybe film it for you so you can see you're walking. Okay, let's get back to the intention. Okay, once you've set your intention, you can just release your hands. And just make sure you're in a comfortable seated position. We're just going to do a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. And this helps to connect the left and the right sides of the brain with the left and right sides of the body. And you'll probably notice as you do this that one side's more dominant than the other as you breathe in and out, so just observe that as well. My understanding is that whichever side is stronger is the opposite side of the brain is what we're currently using at that time. So the right hemisphere of the brain correlates to the left side of the body, and the left hemisphere of the brain correlates to the right. So let's begin. So you're going to take your right hand and just take your index finger and middle finger onto your forehead. Feel your fingers there. Just take a couple of breaths in and out through your nose. And then close off your right nostril with your thumb, breathe in through your left. Close your left nostril, breathe out through your right. Breathe in through your right, close your right, and breathe out through your left. And that's one full round. So breathe in through your left, close your left with your ring finger, breathe out through your right. In right, out left. Breathe in left, out right, in right, out left. We'll do one more full round. So in left, noticing if you can sense a difference between the two sides. Out right, in right, out left. And then just release your hands. Just take about 3 to 5 rounds of breath in and out through both nostrils. Okay, and then let's come down onto your front. So you're going to just gently walk out your legs finding a balance between the left hip point and your right hip point. You want both drawing down towards the ground. And we're finding a neutral pelvis here. So notice if you're arching up, seeing if you can just find the neutral spine, hip points drawing towards the ground. Once you've got that, you may like to bring your hands forward, maybe your forearms stacked, resting your forehead down. Okay, we're going to start to lift the right leg up off the ground, keeping this natural pelvis shape. Okay, so you're just lifting the leg up as high as is comfortable for you, while keeping the pelvis, those hip points drawing down, not rocking over to one side. So keep the left side down and just notice here. Notice the range of movement that you have. This is a range of movement that you'll probably have when you're walking, when you're pushing off that back leg, and just release that one down. Just find that balance again between the left and the right hip point, and then start to lift the left leg up. Again, just as high as is comfortable for you, while keeping the hip points down so you're not rocking over to one side. Notice this, this causes tension in the lower back as well. Okay, just breathing here, observing again that range of movement, and then release. And you can just walk I'm just moving your hips gently from side to side. Okay, now you're going to bend your right knee and lift your thigh up towards the ceiling. Again, the hip points stay down. Notice whatever sensations you're feeling around your buttocks. Just lower the thigh down, release the leg. Again, just moving your hips from side to side. And then bend your left leg and lift your thigh up away from the ground. And it's probably a very small movement. Just breathing here. And then you'll release back down, lower the leg. Okay, now bring your hands alongside you. This time we're going to work across the body, so it'll be opposite shoulder to opposite leg, and this movement can help to free up the extensor muscles through the back body. These can get tight if we're especially not using our back leg to push off. We're starting to use more of these small muscles in the lower back. Okay, so we'll begin with the right shoulder. So you're just going to start to peel your right shoulder away from the ground. Turn your head gently to the right, so you're looking out over the right shoulder or just over your right arm, and then lift the opposite leg up. You're squeezing right into those lower back muscles. Just pay attention to what you feel, and then release the leg, lower your head, and release the shoulder. Let's stay with the right side. So again, you're drawing your right shoulder back. Another option is to rest your head on your hand, and you'll be lifting your arm up as well, your arm and your head, and then opposite leg lifts. Again, notice what you feel contracting all the way through this left leg, from the shoulder right down to the buttocks, and then lower back down. Just relax here, just to pause and just take stock of what you notice in the body. And then we'll switch sides. Okay, so again, you can just have your hands beside you and you gently peel your left shoulder back, turn your head towards the left, and then lift the right leg up. Again, just breathing here and pay attention to what you feel, especially the contraction of the muscles. You're squeezing them, and then as you start to lower back down, notice if they release. Just take your time lowering back down, and then just relax the body. And then again, we'll lift up, and if it is more comfortable, you can stack your hand underneath your head and lift the head and hand up together. And then the opposite leg lifts. Again, feeling that contraction through the back body. And then slowly lowering back down. Notice what you feel releasing. And then again, relax your body. Notice the sensations that you're feeling. Also, pay attention to things that may be presenting themselves to you, and these may not be physical. They could be mental or emotional. It could be a thought or a feeling that comes up for you. So just observe that. Okay, we're going to roll over onto, we'll start off with the right side. Let's move this other way. Okay, so you want to have your knees stacked, just resting your head on your arm, on your right arm. Okay, to begin with, we're going to just take the left foot just behind the right foot and take your hand onto your hip, just around towards the buttocks. So what so it'll be the left butt cheek. Okay, and then you're going to start to lift your left knee up towards the ceiling, and notice these muscles that start to engage in the buttock. Can you give them a little bit more of a squeeze? And then slowly release your knee down. We'll do that again. So again, lifting up, pay attention to what you're feeling in the butt. And these muscles that you feel probably starting to get hard, contracting. And then as you lower your knee down, pay attention to whether they release or do they stay contracted. Just pausing here, and then stack your feet on top of each other. So you're keeping your feet together this time. And then lifting your top knee up. So like a clam, so you're lifting the top leg up or a book and then lowering the knee down. And we'll do that again, so lifting up and again, observing what you feel engaging, what muscles are turning on, and then releasing back down. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. Just paying attention. And then let's switch it over. So roll over on, lie onto your left side. Okay, so again, just coming down to lie on your arm, just stacking your knees. I'll just move down a bit. You can take your top foot just behind your bottom foot, and then we start to lift up that top leg. So lifting the right knee up towards the ceiling, and again just take your hand onto your buttock, just feeling those muscles that you can feel starting to turn on, and then gently releasing again. Just notice how they feel, if they're starting to turn off or if you still feel them holding onto the grip. And then again lifting your top knee up, exploring, so just using your hands just to explore the area, and then releasing back down, and then stacking your ankles on top of each other. And again, we open up like a clam. So just lifting your top knee up. Try not to roll back here. So the movement doesn't have to be very big, just lifting up to where it's comfortable for you. Again, notice what you feel. And then gently release. We'll do it one more time. So again, lifting your top leg up towards the ceiling. And then lowering your knee back down. Okay, just pause for a couple of breaths. And then just release your top hand down to the ground. You can push down through the hand to lift up. And then just come to a seated position. We'll take the legs out wide, so the feet on the ground, knees are separated, and hands just behind you. And then we're going to just lower your knees down to one side and then the other side. Just exploring this range of movement that you have as you go into internal and external rotation. Notice how you're feeling in the hips. Maybe going a little bit deeper. So dropping your knees down a little bit more if that feels good for you. Okay, and then just release, and we'll come to lying down again on your front side. Take your right knee out to the side, so at about a 90-degree angle. So your knee is about in line with your hip. And then you're going to just walk your hands over towards the right side as well. And you can just rest down here for a few moments, feeling this just through the inner groin area. You'll feel also some squeezing through the side of the waist into that lower back area. Notice if you're squeezing your buttocks here. Can you soften into the pose? We'll just take another full round of breath. Exhale, releasing. Just extending your right leg long, come back to center, and then we'll switch sides. So you're going to take your left leg out to the side this time, and then walk your hands over towards the left side. And you can just draw your forehead down towards your hands or stacked forearms. And again, noticing this sensation, the sensations through the inner thigh, the inner groin, and also what you're feeling up through the side of the waist into the lower back area. Again, notice if you're clenching your buttock muscles here. If you're holding tight, just invite them to release. And to do that, you may need to clench them more, so maybe give them a squeeze and then feel them release. And quite often we think we are releasing them, but we aren't. So just by bringing more attention, more awareness to them, it helps them to release. Okay, so just again, as you breathe out, just releasing your left leg long, bring your upper body back to center, and then just take your hands alongside you. You can just push all the way out, and then just slide back to a child's pose. And you can have your forearms on the ground, maybe stacking your forearms one on top of the other, just resting your forehead down. Just feeling into sensations of the body. Just notice what you feel. Okay, and then come back up to a tabletop position. Okay, so now we're going to start to bring some tone into the buttock muscles, the hamstrings. Okay, so we'll start off with actually coming down onto your forearms. You can interlace your hands. And then take your right leg out long. You're going to start to lift the leg up to about hip height and then bend your knee. Okay, and then we'll lift and lower. So lift your thigh up towards the ceiling, squeezing the buttock, and then releasing, lowering down. And again, lifting your thigh up, squeeze, and then release. We'll do it one more time. So lift, squeeze, and lower. Okay, just lower your knee down, come up onto your hands and knees. And then again, take your leg long. We're going to bend the knee. This time you're going more into the hamstring. So be really mindful of the hamstring. If it's not used to shortening this much, it may start to cramp, but don't take it to a place where it's cramping. Okay, so again, you start to lift the thigh up, squeezing through the back leg, and then release. And again, lift the thigh, toes up towards the ceiling, and lower. One more time. So lifting the thigh up, give it a little bit of squeeze, and then lower back down. Okay, now we're taking the leg out to the side, and I know this pose is a fire hydrant. I don't know if there's another name for it. I guess it's from the dog coming onto a fire hydrant. Okay, and again, just one more time, lift the right leg out to the side, and then lower it down. Okay, just take a couple of breaths here, just observing sensations that you're feeling. Okay, and then come back down onto your forearms. This time you're going to interlace your fingers the opposite way, so the other little finger is in front. It's a non-dominant clasp, and it's good for the brain to do this clasp every once in a while. It may feel weird for you. Feel like you're holding your friend's hand. Okay, so again, you extend out the left leg, bend the knee, lift the thigh, and squeeze the buttock. Squeeze the glutes, and then lower. Two more to go. So again, lift, squeeze, and lower. One more time. Lower your knee down, come up onto your hands and knees. Extend your leg out, and again, just be mindful of the hamstring. So bend your knee, and then lift your thigh up. Just give it a squeeze. And then lower your knee down, again, lifting and lowering. One more time. So lift your thigh out, toes are up towards the ceiling, and then lower. And now we go into the fire hydrant. So you take your right knee out to the side, lift it up to a height that's comfortable for you, and then just lower your knees together. Again, lifting up and lower. Try not to rock about too much, so slow the movement down if you need to. And lower. Okay, and then just slide back to a child's pose. Just take a couple of easeful breaths here. Feeling there, stretch out through the buttocks, backs of your legs. Okay, and then we'll come into the quads. So again, we'll start by lying down on your right side. And you can lie on your arm. I'm just going to move my microphone. Hopefully I don't turn it off. Okay, so just lying on your arm, or you can keep your head up. Just bend your bottom leg, and then you're going to kick your top foot in towards your buttock, and then take a hold of the top of your foot with your hand. If your hand doesn't reach, then you can use a strap here. Okay, and then start to draw your thigh away from you. So reaching your knee down towards the end of your mat. And I like to have a gentle push of my foot in towards my hand. If that feels good for you, you can do that. Just breathing here. Okay, and then release. Switching sides. So again, just come to a comfortable position, then kick your top foot in towards your buttock. And then start to draw your thigh away. And drawing your knee towards down towards the end of your mat. Again, slight kicking of your top of your foot in towards your hand, if that feels good for your knee. Nice. Okay, just slowly release. Push down again into your hands, so lift up. And then come to a tabletop position. So curl your toes under. And then you're going to walk your hands back towards your knees. And I love to teach this pose of squatting to get up and down, especially as we start to age. And we need to get up and down from the ground. Quite often as we age, we topple over. And I believe, I think it was my husband saying that falling over is one of the main causes of death in elderly people. So this is a great pose to start to learn, so you can get down, up and down from the ground. Okay, so you're going to push your hands down into the ground, lift your knees, and they don't have to come too far off the ground, but you may like to take your hips back. And drawing your heels towards the ground, they don't have to touch. And then lower your knees down. We'll do that again, so just lifting your knees, and they may just hover off the ground, or rolling your hips back if you have the range. And then lower down. Okay, this time we're going to lift up higher. So you're going to push into your hands, lift your knees up, lift your hips up. Okay, and then just keep your knees bent here. Spine is long, we lead with the sternum. Take your hands together underneath your heart center, push your hands in towards each other, and then slowly start to rise up. Strong through the legs, lift up. And then if you're coming down to the ground, hips will draw back, knees bend. So then you're shifting the weight of gravity, that center of gravity, back and front rather than the head just toppling forward. Okay, let's step forward with the right foot. Left foot goes back, and we're coming into a high lunge position. Okay, so just check that your front knee is over your ankle. If it's drawing forward past your ankle, slide your back foot back. Okay. If you need support, you can hold on to a chair here and just doing the dips, okay? Otherwise, you're going to take your arms alongside you, start to lift your back thigh up towards the ceiling, reaching your sternum forward on about a 45-degree angle. Then slowly lifting your arms up. We're going to exhale the breath, bending into your back knee. Zipping up, and then slowly releasing forward. Take your arms again alongside you, inhale. And exhale. Navel draws in towards your spine, reaching through the fingers. And then again, slowly bring your sternum forward, lifting up that back thigh. One more time. Bend into the knee, lift up through the arms. Okay, glide forward. Arms can stay forward at about that 45-degree angle. And then you're going to place your hands either down to a chair, you can place them down onto blocks, or down into the ground. And step your left foot forward so the foot is on the ground. Toes are about a 45-degree angle. And then you want to just square up the hips, so you're drawing your right hip slightly back so the pelvis is square. And you can stay with your chest lifted the whole time. Just holding here, just breathing into the back body. Otherwise, just take a breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to slowly drape your torso over your leg, and you can bend your knee as much as you need to, especially if you're tied through the hamstrings. Just take a couple of breaths, breathing right into the belly of the muscle. On your inhale breath, lift your chest up. We're going to step back to either downward facing dog or to a child's pose if you prefer, and just walking out
through your legs if you're in downward facing dog. Probably not if you're in child's pose. Okay, and then switching your legs over. So we'll step the left foot forward. Again, just check your front knee is over your ankle. And we're going to rise up. So you can take your hand onto your front thigh to lift your chest up to about that 45-degree angle. Back thigh lifts. Take your arms alongside you. Now take a breath in. As you exhale, bend into your right knee. Start to lift your arms up. Squeezing through the buttock. And then again, inhale, reaching the sternum forward, arms alongside, exhale, navel draws in, bending into that back knee. And then again, reaching forward, and then exhale the breath, zipping up, and then lift your back thigh up, come forward on that 45-degree angle, hold here, take a breath in. As you breathe out, lower your hands down to either your chair, to your blocks, or to the ground. And we'll step that back foot in so your foot is on the ground. And again, you're going to gently draw your left hip back so the pelvis squares up. So just notice if one hip is popping out to the side, can you draw that left hip back? Okay, so again, you may like to stay here with your chest lifted. This may be enough for you, especially if you are tight through the back of your leg. Otherwise, you're going to slowly start to lengthen your spine and then just draping down to wherever feels comfortable for you. Bend your front knee as much as you need to. Just taking a few easeful breaths. Take one more full breath in. Exhale your breath completely. And then as you inhale, lift your chest up. Take your hands onto your hips and draw your arm bones back. As you push down into your feet, lift up. Come all the way up to standing. And then we're going to go into a squat. So step your feet wide on your mat. Okay, slide your hands down your thighs. This may be enough for you here. Okay, in whichever position you choose for your squat, keep your spine long. So tailbones drawing down, crown of the head up, elongating your spine. Okay, you may like to come down so your forearms are resting on your thigh, or you can come right down so your triceps are on the inside of your thighs. So triceps pushing against your thighs, again lengthen your spine. So lifting up through the crown of the head, tailbone draws down. Okay, we're going to take a twist. So take your left arm out to the side, you can push it against the thigh, and then open out towards the right. And then release your right down, take a breath in. As you exhale, twist to the left. And again, inhale to center, exhale, navel draws in, twist to the right. And last time, exhale to the left. And place your hands down. Going to push into your hands to lift your hips up. And then just bending your knees and come all the way down onto the ground. And we'll come all the way down onto our belly. Okay, so just take your arms alongside you, finding your hip points, connecting to the ground. Just make sure you've got room for your arms to move. Okay, so take a breath in, pubic bone draws down, tone through the legs, and then start to lift your sternum up, reaching the sternum forward. So it's not about how high you can get, it's about how much length. Okay, now reaching your right arm towards the front of the room, lift your back leg up. And then lower your leg, release your arm and turn your head to the left. And again, inhale, lift and lengthen. Left arm goes long, right leg lifts. And then sweep the arm back, lower the leg, turn your head to the right. Again, pushing down through the pubic bone, lift and lengthen, reaching your right arm forward, left leg lifts. Keeping your gaze down towards the ground so spine is long. Sweep your arm back, lower your leg, turn your head to the left. One more time. Again, lift and lengthen. Sweep your left arm forward, right leg lifts. And then take your arm back, lower your leg, turn your head to the right. And take your hands just alongside you. Turn your head so you're facing towards the ground. Again, you're going to push your pubic bone down into the ground. Push your tops of your feet down to the ground. And then just gently roll your shoulders back. Now start to lift up by reaching your sternum forward. Keep drawing your pubic bone down into the ground, but maybe soften your knees if that feels good for your lower back. If you need to support your lower back, tone your legs. Okay, from here, you're going to take a breath in. Keep drawing your elbows back, reaching your sternum forward. And then exhale, gently lower, and then push into your hands. Come all the way back to a child's pose. Or if you'd prefer a downward facing dog, you're just wanting a pose that will neutralize the spine. Okay, lifting up, we'll come over onto our back. Okay, take your right ankle onto your left thigh. So your left knee is bent. This may be enough for you here. Otherwise, you're going to start to draw your left thigh towards your chest until you start to feel it through the outer right hip. You may like to wrap your hands around your left thigh. Just check your ankle, just to make sure your ankle's safe. If you see lots of little creases in your ankle and you're putting pressure on your ankle through the foot, just push out through the sole of your foot. Okay, gently release, switch your legs over. Left ankle, make sure it's not just your foot, but your ankle on your thigh. And again, maybe drawing your thigh toward your chest if that feels good. Push out through the left sole of your foot. Slowing down the breathing. Okay, and release. You're going to take your knees to a tabletop position. Take your arms out to a T or cactus your arms. Okay, now you're going to squeeze your thighs. Take your breath in, and as you exhale, gently roll towards the right, just so the outer left hip starts to lift off the ground. And to center, breathe in. Exhale to the left. Again, just moving from side to side, just moving with your breath. Let's just take one more full round. Maybe going a little bit deeper. Stay anchored through the shoulders. And come back to center. Just give your knees a hug in towards your chest. You can rock from side to side or just gently move your legs around so you're massaging your lower back. And then just make your way into your Shavasana or constructive rest pose. If you've got any pain in your lower back, knees bent is a good option. Okay, allow your hips to settle. Feel your heels releasing down to the ground. Releasing all tension in your body. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale your breath completely. Now you're welcome to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like, just allowing your nervous system to integrate all that's gone on throughout the practice. And whenever you're ready, you can make your way up to a seated position. And then just take your hands together at your heart center. So again, remember your intention for the day. Bring some awareness to the way you move, so especially paying attention to your walking, noticing if you're pushing off that back leg, toning through your glute muscles, the hamstring muscles, so all those muscles, big muscles at the backs of the legs. And thank you so much for joining me. Take a moment just to acknowledge the time you've spent honoring yourself. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.